Good morning to all of you. Wow, what a Josh. Good, good, good. Can you hear me? Can you hear me down there? Wonderful. Jai Hind. Great. So, I guess all of you are here to become what? Engineer and doctor or something? Then what? Yes or no? How many are here for to be a doctor in future? All of you? Wow. My God, I am very much afraid of doctors, you know. Because it is the doctor who told me when I was received in the hospital that he is a dead body. मुझे डर लगता है बड़ा. So you have an aim in front of you, all of you, right? So to be a doctor or a good doctor? Wonderful. That's wonderful. You know actually how powerful the doctors are? They are next to God. So when they are next to God, that means there are a lot of such qualities which should be matching. Right? And each one of us is actually what? Part of? Wonderful. Great. Good thoughts. Wonderful thoughts. But then why sometime somebody inside us tells us to do cheating? Do we cheat? Sometime? Don't tell me. Sometime. Sometime I have done it. No? Okay, tell me who's your best friend? Okay, hold on. Silence. The one who is videographing, I can see the, I can see the, light of the camera. The blue cap? Hair. The blue cap you can't see wearing with a white stripe. Yes, sir, you. In this row, yes, right in front of you. Here, yes, tell him. Ask him, yes. Who's wearing blue cap? And he's turning his head behind. Still he's looking behind. What's your name, brother? Sorry? So how do we help each other? He will tell the name to the front person and then it comes to her. Not like that. There is a chain reaction which you can do. Tell to the third person in front of you and he will tell further and the lady sitting here will come to know what's your name. Anyway, silence. No problem. बैठ जाओ. So this is the way you can actually help each other. Otherwise what happens? I asked his name, he could not, speak so much loudly that it comes to me directly. But what could have been the easier way? He tells to the next person in front of him and the next person tells to the next person and then you work as a team and the lady sitting here tells me what's the name. Isn't it an easier way? So that is what is team. So, what I was asking the question, that who is the best friend of yours? Okay, you tell me. The one with the yes. Okay, you tell me. Who is the best friend? Parents. Okay, how many of you think that parents are the best friend? All of you think parents are the best friend. Wonderful. What did you say? What did you say earlier? Don't say yes or no. What did you say earlier? No. You tell me what was the first thought. Who's your best friend? How many of you think that you yourself is your best friend? Okay, let me tell you one example. All of you know cricket? This is the power of cricket. Yes, sir. So, for example, you have a match with the opponent, and in opponent team, there is a very fast bowler. You are the batsman, right? You are the batsman who is going to face that bowler. Now you know he knows the trick how to out you. But there is another friend of yours who knows that how to face that ball so that you don't get out, right? So he teaches you that. Let's take it, most of you were saying that parents are the best friend. Your parent, father or mother tells you that, beta, this is the way you should play. This is the way you should play. Now you have practiced, right? Now you're facing that bowler, and two things can happen. What? Either you face that type of a ball, hit a 6 or a 4 or whatever run, or you get out. Both ways, if you hit a 6, who is going to get congratulated? Who? Father? Who? And if you get out again, who will get the scolding? Father? You. So, who is the best friend? If you do not follow that what is good for yourself, others are only guiding you. This is the right approach to hit that ball. This is the wrong approach to play that ball. It is you who has to decide that which type of a hit you need to take. If you take the correct hit, you practice that type of a hit and you take the correct hit, you will get congratulated, you will rise high in your life, you will win. It is you. And if you get bowled again, it is you who will be told that you don't know how to play. So who has to learn? It's me. Others are only guiding. If I learn the way to hit the ball, if I practice that, that's also it's my benefit. If I don't do that, then also it's my loss. So it is me inside me is the one who need to understand that what is correct for me and what is not correct for me. And if it is the one inside me understand that, I become a good batsman. And if I don't understand that, I'll be a loser again. Now in this type, sometime your friends in the form of your parents, in the form of your mentors, in the form of your teachers, tells you what is correct, what is not correct. Sometime life tells you. Sometimes life throws a situation in front of you which is a type of a learning. If you learn out of that situation, that is an opportunity for you. And if you do not learn out of that, that was a problem for you. Situation is same. You make an opportunity out of it, or you take it as a problem, is something in you. The one in you, the way it's accept how to hit the ball or not to hit the ball, how to take the situation, to use it as a stepping stone or to get stumble. Ultimately, result relates to you. So within me, there are two types of people. One who is good, who looks for such opportunities, who looks for such difficulties, and one who's bad, who try to skirt, who try to cheat, who try to talk bad about others, who try to talk ill about others, who do not help others, who do not do any type of service, who do not pay any respect. The opposite of all that is something which good does. So, such situation in life, I feel the people who get such situation in life, the real-time life situation, are the one who are lucky. And the more the difficulty in the situation, the lucky the person is. Because the more the difficulty, the bigger is the learning out of that. The bigger is the lesson you learn, the bigger is the teaching you get out of that. And the bigger is the opportunity you get out of that. So today, I'm going to share how such challenges thrown in front of me helped me to where am I. And I'm going to also connect it with that, how when I was in your age, the way of life in that period also, the situations, the challenges in that period also helped me to face the much bigger challenges later, up to the extent of facing death. And all such challenges and overcoming that, taking it as an opportunity, helped me to reach where am I. And then you can compare it with many others who perhaps get bogged down by the bad in me. There will always be a good and bad in you. Always. That's there in me also, that's there in everybody who's there in this human form available on this Mother Earth. So the key, the power of making out of it or breaking out of it lies in the hands of you. So in my opinion, if somebody can change or make or break the destiny of yours, the life of yours, the future of yours, it's none other than you. So in my opinion, if somebody is the boss of your life, it's you. You are the boss of your life. Rest, all of them are here only to guide you, to mentor you, to support you, to echo you. But the ultimate maker of your own destiny is none other than you. So you are the boss, nobody else. You have the power in your hand to make out of it what you want in your life or get broken. Choice always lies in your hand. When it comes to my life, the biggest challenge in my life I faced way back in 1999. Kargil War. How many of you know or aware about it? Kargil War. What is the real name of this war? You see, he is at the same distance what blue cap friend is sitting at. Sit down. But he could make his voice reach here because he knows the answer. Yes, Operation Vijay. It was in Operation Vijay 1999 when I was deployed with my unit on line of control, and we were in active operations with the neighboring country, our beloved neighbors. When one of their bomb landed next to me, you know, as they say that each bullet carries a name. You heard that? So when they tried their n number of bullets and they could not find the name written of mine, they tried something different. You know, there is a certificate to whomsoever it may concern. You know that? So bomb is a type of a certificate because it is a weapon which gets exploded. Let's hold for the explosion for some time. Bomb is a type of weapon, ammunition, which explodes like a fountain. It is not a direct hitting weapon. Bullet, you aim and shoot, right? If my name is written there, it will hit me. And bomb is a type of weapon where, it's an ammunition. When it explodes, it disintegrates in number of shrapnels, number of iron particles. And all those shrapnels becomes a bullet. And it may hit to whomsoever it may concern. So that is why it is the certificate taken as to whomsoever. So when they failed to find a bullet, they thought, let's hit a bomb. You never know, by that bomb he get killed. उनको क्या मालूम था कि मैं बहुत ढीठ हूँ. I take a pause here. I was actually very badly injured to the tune. Have you seen an anar bomb? So the way anar bomb or the way fountain explodes in, the water goes all around. The shrapnels hit me all over my body, and I was like lying there as a pool of blood. Within a fraction of seconds I conked off. I don't know what happened, and the blood was coming out like a fountain. It was that bad. It was my team. I take a pause here and I bow in front of that team who did not bother about their own life. The only aim in front of all those four guys was to pick up their officer and take him to a safe zone area so that he can be shifted to the nearest hospital and his life can be saved. Let me tell you, boys and girls, my post was at a place where it was directly visible by the enemy, and behind that flowing a river, and across that river was a safe zone where they were supposed to take me. And out of the four men who were picking me up on the stretcher, one was a non-swimmer. And he very well knew that he has to cross the river and he may slip. And later on, after that, I came to know also that he did slip during crossing the river. But still, he was not at all worried about his own life. The only aim in front of him was to take me across the safe zone area so that I can be shifted to the nearest hospital and my life can be saved. This is the type of team, this is the type of camaraderie which is carried in the armed forces. And why? That is the reason why when rest of the organization fail to perform in any type of eventuality, who wins? Who comes over and takes over? Who? We will talk about this thing later. Well, I reached the nearest hospital. It took me 2.5 hours. And when I reached there, somebody like you, I don't want to see, would be you. I'm just joking, okay? Somebody, a doctor who was it was a small hospital, one doctor, one nurse, and one nursing assistant. And he was just he was not a specialized in any way. He was just an MBBS doctor. When he received me there, he said, "This is a dead body. Take it to the mortuary." Luckily, there was a senior specialist. Some of you will become that. All of you will become that. Wonderful. The senior specialist was an anesthetic. Now, if you are aware about it, anesthetics are specialized in reviving tricks also, because they are the one who put you in some type of a temporarily unconscious state, so they know how to revive out of that also. So as the luck would have, this senior specialist of the rank of colonel was available because of some special duty in that hospital. So he said, "Let me have a look." And when he saw something, he thought that this man has some life left, and he revived me. He revived me, but not before he could you know, left me with, if I go by the medical book, with 150% disabilities. Medical book is something with which you help to calculate the percentage of disabilities. Later on you will come to know about that. And if you add the injuries all over my body which I have, I'll show you that also, it comes to 150% disable. Now a young man whose only dream was to go as an officer in the armed forces, within a span of just 1.5 years of his service, was lying on a deathbed with so many injuries. This is known as what? Label diagram, okay? So we may play a game, you tell me the part of the body, I'll tell you what injury is there. And if you look at the right below corner of the screen, it shows you the weight I had, 28 kgs. And this 28 kgs weight was after 40 days of hospitalization. And during these 40 days I was pumped in, I don't know, n number of blood and raw protein bottles. After that, that was the condition. Generally my weight at that time was around 65 to 67 kgs. So a young officer with so many shrapnels, you see all these things, red dots? There are around 46 or so, I counted once but I forgot the number. This is my amputated leg. This is my, right? This is the pelvic. All these shrapnels were there with the physical injuries. And let me tell you, boys and girls, these physical injuries were not the only injuries which I sustained. Very soon, somehow, God gave me another very big challenge in my life, and that was a break in the relationship, the emotional injuries. You know, physical injuries you can still overcome. There are a lot of tricks and everybody says take care of this and take care of that. But unfortunately, in our country, in fact most of the countries, how to overcome with the emotional injuries is not being told. Right? Be it because of loss, be it because of breakup, be it because of not achieving something, be it because of not getting what you want in time. You know, sometime you get into some sort of a stress, depressive mode, which I also underwent. Because I had now both type of injuries in me. Now how to break with the emotional injuries is something which is very important. So, and it's not a big deal also, it's very easy also. If I tell you the trick, if you are thinking about something, like I was thinking of my breakup and all the, you know, body state and all that, what was required for me is to break that thought by diverting it towards other. Not to think about breaking that thought. Because if you think about, that means you are more brooding over it. What is required is to break, put a break, divert. Have you seen small kids, toddlers, जिनको अभी चलना भी नहीं आता है? You know, sometime what do? They go to the, near to the pin, power pin, socket, and they try putting their finger inside. Right? Because they are not aware whether they will get shock or not. Right? If you tell them don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, they will never get out of that. They will never come out of that. They will cry, show tantrum, they will again go back there. It happens or not? If ever you have handled any type of a kids, you would agree to me. The only way to make them come out of that situation is to give them another area, another toy, or tell them, look at there, what happened? And suddenly you will see his turn. That's the break. That is the break which is required to come out of that emotional setback. For me, there are various ways. You know, some people think about sharing this with the others. if you have a good friends, speak to your parents, you speak to your friends. Some people go and do some sketching and all. Some people try to listen to the music. Some go and watch some movie. Some go in some plays, right? In my case, I use the therapy of music. Music has it's a very powerful therapy. In fact, I realize that if I listen to sad type of songs, I will go into that melancholy type of a mood. And if I listen to R.D. Burman and Peppy numbers, I will come back to the, aao, twist kare. So when I know that these type of songs can shift my thought, so I would rather, when I am in a melancholy type of a mood, would rather listen to other type of a song so that I switch. Simple, so that I switch. So one thing which helped me was the music. But there's another important thing which helped me to come back on my feet. Despite the fact when doctors told me that you are with so many disabilities, would not be able to stand back or live a very beautiful life, and they were not aware that I am also carrying some emotional injuries. But it was in my hand to keep on lying on that bed forever or stand back on my feet. And I thought that let me take this opportunity to bounce back. Have you seen a ball? If you drop a ball, how up it bounces back? In comparison to if you hit the ball, which bounce will be more? If you hit the ball. That's it. The life also treats you the same way. If you have been hit loudly, you have hit the nadir, you can't go down that. You will have to bounce back. If you have been dropped, perhaps you may not get injured, but you will also not bounce back. So what is the better opportunity? So if there are challenges in life, is it good or bad? Because that is where the opportunity of bouncing back is there. So I also chose, let me use this opportunity to stand back on my feet. Music, of course, helped me. But then I also started going out and playing. I use the therapy of games also. Because you guys all are doctor and would be doctor. You heard about endorphins? How many of you know about endorphins? Raise your hands. So today you go back and read about endorphins. Endorphins are the hormones, good hormones, which get generated when you are into any type of a physical activity. When you pump up your heart, when you sweat out, all the toxins gets released. Somebody who sweats after a game, he doesn't need any deo to smell better. Try it out. I'm not joking. If I don't play for 1-2 months, I start smelling my sweat. It is so bad. But once I am into all that, because this is also related to your studies only, there are various ways and means to release the toxins of the body. Right? Be it through urine or stool, and sweat is also one of that. So when you go out and do any type of physical activity, you sweat and your heart pumps in more. And your heart pumps in and cleans your arteries and everything inside, which are actually maybe affected with little bit of muck. It is something like if there is a nali which is infected with lot of muck. So if you put pressure, water there, it gets clean. So that is how the pumping of the blood helps you to clean with all the toxins. And it also generates endorphins. Endorphins are mood enhancing hormones. And these mood enhancing hormones helps you to come out of that So I also started playing games. I gradually, I started with golf. But seriously telling, golf is a little boring game. But then, in situation which I was, it helped me to come back and stand on my feet and take some control of my body. Gradually, I started playing with my men in the army. I even played games which are actually, I felt that little challenging, like squash. Any one of you who plays squash here? Wonderful. There is one boy. You need a lot of shifting. You need a lot of shifting in squash. So I thought maybe with my leg, I will not be able to do that. But it was all here. The blockages are always here. When I went to the arena and I picked up the racket, I realized, yaar, सब possible है. सब possible है. ये मैं सोच के बैठा हुआ था पिछले 6 महीने से कि नहीं खेल पाऊंगा. But the moment I landed here, I am able to play. Gradually, like that, I got the opportunity once to go back to Kargil in 2005. 2005, I got the opportunity to go back to Kargil, but this time with a mission of peace. Peace mission. From Kargil to Kanyakumari, I did a rally, marathon car rally, which was for 16 days, 6,500 kilometers. To commemorate the war heroes who lived their life there, and also to carry the peace thing all around from Kargil to Kanyakumari. Anyway, now with this type of thing, I thought I have taken control of my some sort of injuries, both emotional and physical, because I was able to break through that. So I thought, let me progress further and do something more adventurous. I wanted to go for even tougher rallies. Any one of you heard about Desert Storm? Desert Storm rally, car rallies. Anyone? Oh, I am happy to see there are 2, 3. Desert Storm happens in Rajasthan, and it's one of the Indian car rally, which is one of the toughest international car rally. And also another one is a Raid Day Himalaya, which happens, of course, the name says Himalaya, right? So I wanted to go for that. But it's a very costly affair, so I was looking for some sponsors, because it used to cost around, way back in 98 and 99, 2000, it used to cost around 10 to 15 lakhs for one event. But whenever I used to go to sponsors, they always look up to me like this. Somebody like you is dreaming so much, but why the hell should I put my money over you? Right? And they always used to look at my disabilities. And I always joke around, हर तरफ है जख्म गहरा, ये तो सबने देखा, बट हंसता हुआ नूरानी चेहरा. No injury of my body or of my emotion could take away my smile. And this is one thing which helped me always. Keep smiling. So whenever I used to go to these sponsors, these companies, to ask for some sort of a support, they always used to look down upon me with this sort of angle that you are a disabled character. They never used to tell me like that, but I used to get that vibes and feelings that how the hell can you even think about doing something like this? Where are your abilities? And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, whenever something like this happens, it helps me. Because they rejected me, it works as a catalyst for me to find something new in me. And I'm so glad that they rejected me. Because had they not rejected me, I wouldn't have found my more possibilities, abilities. It is because of them I thought, and I saw an ad of Airtel Delhi half marathon way back in 2009. Half marathon is how many kilometers? How many of you know about marathon? Wonderful. How many of you run marathon? Wonderful. वैसे बाय द वे आजकल जहां पे भी वो 2 किलोमीटर वाली रन भी होती है उसको भी मैराथन का नाम दे देते हैं. Marathon is 42 kilometers, half marathon is 21 kilometers. So I saw that ad of Airtel Delhi half marathon 2009, and I thought that for somebody who doesn't have a leg, it is difficult to stand upon the legs. It is also difficult for him to walk. It is difficult for him to even run. But the most difficult thing can be to run a long distance. So if somebody is looking at me with that eyes that if I don't have a leg, I can't run, there are only two ways to answer him. नहीं 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 मैं तो कर सकता हूँ. The other way is, let me tell you with my action, what can I do? So I decided, let's go for this half marathon, because somebody who doesn't have legs, for him the most difficult challenge can be a long distance run, because that does not need just legs, that also need endurance, stamina, you top of fitness class, right? And I chose to participate in that. I gave a target to me. I thought, in practice, which was hardly 30 days away, if I am able to complete 15 kilometers mark, rest of the distance खींच देंगे, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. फाइनल डे में 15 किलोमीटर की अगर प्रैक्टिस होगी, 21 खींचना कोई बड़ी बात नहीं है, कर देंगे. But if I am not able to touch that mark, then I will rethink, shall I go next year or this year? Let me tell you, I could not complete 9 kilometers also in practice. And very smartly, I had registered for 21 kilometer and 6 kilometer वाला event also. I thought अगर उतना नहीं हुआ तो 6 किलोमीटर करके आ जाएंगे. But that day I was confused when I was supposed to start the run. कि what should I do? Because I could not achieve my target. Shall I go ahead or not? So I thought, let's take both the chest numbers and go to the distance, go to that area from where I am supposed to start the run, and there we will decide. So when I got out of my car and I was walking through the start point, towards the start point, I'm so thankful to all of them, because most of them were again looking at me with the same eyes, that who is this bugger, 2.5 legs here, standing and doing what? This is a marathon for runners, not for langdas. And those eyes gave me again some sort of a strength. I tore off that 6 kilometer wala chest number. I said, अब अगर भागेंगे तो 21, उससे नीचे नहीं. Still I had little bit of iota of doubt on my abilities, because of course I did not practice the way I wanted. So when at the start point I was about to start, I saw two old gentlemen standing, 75-year-old and 74-year-old. I said, uncle, what are you doing here? This is a half marathon enclosure. He said, son, we will also go for half marathon. I said, uncle, in this age? He said, so what? We will do that. And I thought, if in this age, which is of my, even more than my grandfather's age, if these gentlemen can do that, what am I thinking about? Why can't I? And the most beautiful thing in our culture is what? I feel the most beautiful thing in our culture is blessings. I touched their feet, took their blessings, and those vibes, positive vibes, traveled towards me, and that iota of doubt also got cleared. It took me 3 hours 49 minutes to complete my first half marathon in 2009. And let me tell you, I was not wearing this blade, I was wearing a walking leg, which is not meant for running, which as per the prescribed things should not be used more than 5 to 7 kilometers. Otherwise you may break it, or there may be a malfunction in that. But when I thought कि इतने पैसे खर्चे हैं तो रगड़ो साले को, क्यों देखी जाएगी बाद में. For 3 hours 49 minutes, boys and girls, those two in me were fighting with each other. The bad in me was telling me shortcut. The good in me was telling me, is that you have come for? The bad in me was telling me take lift. The good in me was telling me, will you be able to face yourself ever again? The bad in me was telling me, leave it. What are you proving here? You are already so much injured. Your family is bothered about you. You did not tell them that you're going for a run. If you get more injuries, they'll be more bothered. Your mother will be worried. What are you going to achieve out of it? But the good in me was telling me, if you quit now, for whole life, you will not be able to prove your worth. That what is more important is the mental strength, not having leg or not having leg. Maybe this is the reason for ages, since the history of India and even before, perhaps nobody had thought so to do something like that, and that is the reason this became a Limca record for me. Like that, I did 3 half marathons. Every time improved my timing by 15 minutes or so. When Indian Army gave me that first blade, which is the running leg. Let me also tell you, after getting the blade, I thought now I'll be able to fly. No. It was even tougher for me to run with the blade. Technology and others can support you only. Again, the boss is you only. Technology could support up to an extent. After that, it is the man behind the machine, not the machine which matters. So when I started running with the blade, I thought I'll be able to fly, but I was fool. Because every step when I used to put on the tar road, it used to give me a hit here. You know how beautiful the body is, which we generally ignore. We never thought that there are shock absorbers in our body. Have you realized the cartilage at ankle, at knee, at hip joint? Even if you jump from here, you will get very less type of a shock, because all these shock absorbers helps you. It is only after losing something you realize the value of that. Think how beautiful the body has been given to you. Why are you different from the animals? So every time I used to run, I used to put my foot on tar road, I used to get this shock. But I knew that this shock only I have to overcome. If I have to run with this, there is no other way out. I can't give options to me that quit. Quitting is not the option. Let me get attuned to this. Let me take this as an opportunity to learn better, learn more, and learn how to run even faster. And after doing all that, I could only run my first blade run. That was way back in 2011. And that is how people started calling me Indian Blade Runner. And because that is how the first blade came to India, that became the another Limca record. Well, till here, because nobody has done, that is the reason I was doing it and getting the Limca record. Now I thought, let me further stretch my limit and test me till how far I can go. Human limits cannot be measured at all. Cannot be measured at all. Have you ever thought what is the difference between the man who was in the Neolithical age era and you? Is there any difference in the production of the factory? Was the maker was somebody different then and now? So why he was so tough that he used to outrun animals and even used to eat them raw and used to do anything, never used to get even worried about whether I am feeling cold or not. But now we are so much into comfort. Why? Because over a period of time, the abilities of body and mind have been countered by the comfort which we have taken. So that proves what? We have extreme abilities. It is up to us how much we can stretch. The more we stretch, the more we test our abilities, the more we realize, oh my God, I could do this. I never thought. Of course it was difficult, it took me chances, it took me repeated failures, but I reached somewhere here. So I thought, let me test my abilities further. Can I go to high altitude and on a rough terrain and run there also? You know what is the difference between high altitudes and normal altitude? It is difficult to breathe there because of the rarefied atmosphere. You need to get acclimatized there, and then only you can do something like that. So I was practicing for high altitude, but a week before the run, because of my injuries, got dehydrated badly. And because of my intestinal injuries, there is a tendency of losing vitamin B12. Again, you guys are medical. मैं आज बहुत सारे medical के lecture दे रहा हूँ आप लोगों को, बीच में note करते रहना. Vitamin B12 is a very efficient vitamin, very important vitamin for your memory, for your eyesight, for your nervous system. And if there is a reduction in the vitamin B12, that means all these things will get affected. And because I have the injured intestine, the tendency is very high to get dehydrated and losing the vitamin B12. So 1 week before